guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back. For today's video, I am very excited to do the part 2 of the Q&A. This is a follow-up video from my last Q&A, so I hope you like it and I hope I get all of your questions. I went through all the comments area of my previous video and pick up some questions that you guys want to ask. But before I start, I want to invite you to my TikTok account. I'm going to put my handle here. It's so much fun. Have you tried it? It's so much fun. Funny stuff in there in my page that I want you to see. Also, I have done so many DIYs. As you can notice, my backdrop is new. I built this from IKEA. It's like an IKEA hack vanity. I also built our side table for our bedroom. I'm in the process of renovating this bedroom right here, and I'm super excited for you guys to see. I'm gonna link all the videos that I did on my other channel, as well as I'm gonna link my other channel on the comments down below, so don't forget to check that out. I would love for you to see all those DIYs and the progress of the bedroom makeover that we are doing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with all your questions. So the first question is from Venica. She says, or she asked, are you able to raise a child with just minimum wage? Honestly, I can't fully answer this question just because I'm not been in that situation before. But what I can tell you is, even though I have a full-time job plus my husband's full-time job together with 2 kids and a home to pay off, it's not easy. We struggle a lot financially. We make it work most of the time, but it's still a struggle financially for us, that with 2 incomes. Now, there are a lot of single parents that did it on their own, working minimum wage and balancing the work time, the work schedule, and raising a child on top of whatever they're doing on the side. I could tell you that it's very, very hard. It's going to be a struggle for you, but if you could, make some sacrifice on some parts of your life, on your everyday life, I'm pretty sure you could do it, but it's just going to be a little bit of a struggle. There are some ways that you can do, like living with your parents. They could help out with the rent plus the daycare fees, because when you go to work, who's going to take care of your kid? It's probably a good idea to live with your parents for a while until you stabilize yourself financially. As I said, it will be hard, it will be a struggle, but there are some ways that you can do to make it possible to raise a child with just minimum wage. But it will be a lot, it will be a struggle. I wish you good luck, and I hope you could find balance from your work and your kid and all of that stuff in between. So the next question that she asked, what work balance is like for the job? It depends where you are. If you work for a hospital, it gets really busy. Your schedule are all over the place. You could have an overnight shift. You could be working over the holidays. Working in a private clinic is a whole different thing. I work for a family-owned clinic, and our schedule are pretty flexible. I mean, I work Monday to Friday. Some of the days I work in the morning, and some of the days I work in the evening. So those mornings and evenings, I have some free time. I only work 8-hour a day. I work once or twice Saturdays in a month, and we are closed Sundays, and we are also honoring public holidays. So any holidays I'm off. So my work balance in my workplace personally is really awesome. I have a lot of free time. But I mean, those free time, I use those to do some other part-time jobs. I do makeup for people sometimes. I do clean houses for some people sometimes on those free times. I don't put my eggs in one basket, girl. That's the life here in Canada. If you have free time, you go work. If you don't have your kids with you, you go work. You know what I mean? But if I'm just working for the clinic alone, I have a lot of free times. I have most of my weekends free. I have public holidays free. I have some of my days free, which is really awesome. So it really depends on where you are. Some clinics opens all weekends, and some of those bigger clinics has a lot of people, so you kind of have to arrange your vacation and arrange your time off all throughout the year. But for me personally, I have a lot of free time. So it really depends on the workplace, and work balance could be various where you work. If you work on a specialist office, they're more laid back. They're more of like a easygoing day, and most holidays they're closed as well. So it really depends on where you are. She wants me to talk about the pros and the cons of my job. There are a lot of pros in my workplace. Like for example, we have a lot of drug representative that comes for lunches meeting, and every time they come, they will bring a big humongous amount of food for everybody, for both the doctors and the office staff. So we're full every time. Like we have 3 days out of a week that we arrange lunches for doctors. So all of those 3 days we are fully stocked up with food. So that's one of them. And I'm very lucky to have a lot of patients that we kind of connect, and we kind of like develop a good patient medical office assistant relationship. We have a lot of patients, and most of them during Christmas, they spoil us with gifts. And it's not just Christmas, it's like on everyday basis. If they call, okay, I'm coming in today, I'm going to see the doctor, what would you like me to bring you guys, or bring us coffee and donuts. So there's just a lot of treats, and there's just a lot of like positive experiences that I have with my work. Our relationship with our doctors are really great. Our relationship with my coworkers, there's just 4 of us, so we're really, really tight, and communication and the relationship are really, really awesome. So those are just some of the pros that I have at my workplace. Now the cons, maybe it's we're a walking clinic, so we're always busy. I remember when I went for an interview for my job right now, the office manager, the first thing she said to me is that, are you okay? Some days you're going to skip a break, like you're not gonna go out for 30 minutes out of the office to spend your break outside, because sometimes it gets really busy and some of the girls skip their breaks. But those 30 minutes that were skipped, we added it onto our pay sheet, like a timesheet, so we get paid for those missed break. And we're also allowed to bring in a little snacky on our desk and eat it while we work, so we're not like starving the whole day, you know what I mean? Missed breaks for us, it means like 30 minutes out of the office that you can actually step out and go for 30 minutes. Some days we're not doing those because it gets really busy. So those are my main, probably the main cons of my job. It's just, it gets really hectic, like sometimes you can't even go to the washroom. But other than that, I don't really have any complaint with my work, honestly. Being a medical office assistant at my work is really awesome. I don't know, this is the only clinic that I work for. I don't know what are the experiences. Some of the MOAs has their own workplace at the hospital, big clinics and all that, but I could only speak for my work, which is really, really awesome, and I'm very blessed to be at my current job at the moment. Somebody asked, what is required to be a good MOA? First thing first, you have to have a knowledge about medical field. If a doctor says something that kind of not resonate to you, like some medical terms that you cannot understand if you don't have background with any of this, if you didn't take medical office assistant course. Some type of background with medical terms. Also, you have to be a multitasker. You have to have an attention to details, because some of the doctors will tell you like really quick, oh, can you jot this down? And if you are not listening and if you're not paying attention, you're gonna lost all of those just that was relayed to you. So I mean, those skills though, like multitasking skills and pay attention to details and a quick learner, all those skills, you could acquire those from any other jobs. So for being a medical office assistant, as long as you have the history or the background of medical field, and you have the drive to learn, and you have the passion for the job, you are good. You are going to excel in the job, and those are the only, I think, required to be a good MOA. Do you recommend this job if you're not good with fast-paced environment and multitasking? If not, can you suggest something else she could study? I mean, it don't have to be fast-paced environment and multitasking. I have some colleagues that, you know, you could take your work at your own pace, but there is just a little portion of your work time that will require you to be fast. Like if the walk-in clinic is very busy that day, you have to keep up on it. Like you have to work fast, and you have to do, you know, like several tasks at one time, because if not, you're gonna miss phone calls, which are patients that's going to book appointments, or walk-ins that would like to come in. So if you miss those phone calls, you're going to miss clients, you're going to miss patients. The number of patients that the doctor will see in a day will decrease. So, but it's not all the time. It's not like crazy busy all the time. There are some times that we're just, you know, like very slow and very laid back. But as much as possible, you kind of have to have those qualities if you want to work in a busy walk-in clinic. But there are also some offices that are very laid back and very not busy and very quiet. Specialist office especially, and there are some physicians that only deals with their own patients. They're not dealing with walk-ins. So what that means is if you have 10 patients booked in a day, those are the only patients that you are going to see and deal with in a day. So it's not going to be crazy busy. You're not going to be dealing with a fast-paced day, or you don't have to deal with like several tasks at one time. So it really varies of what office you work for, all of these qualities that you have to have. I mean, it's good if you have all of those qualities. That's excellent. You're going to excel in anything that you do, right? But it doesn't require you to be like a machine, like you can do everything, like every task all at once. No, you will adjust as the time goes by. You learn the routine, and you learn how the office works. And as a starter, if you're new in your job, everybody will understand. Okay, you're still learning. You know, you're still slow at something because you're still grasping all of those information, and you're still just learning. But if you're there for a couple of years, I'm pretty sure you're going to get a good grasp of what it is working in your clinic, get the routine and all that, and you'll be surprised. You'll learn how to do several tasks all at once, and be present adjust to the fast-paced environment. I'm pretty sure you will. You probably will think that you can't handle it now because you're not used to it, but if you're working there for a couple of years, trust me, you'll be surprised what you can do. So she was asking if she's not, you know, good with fast-paced environment and multitasking, what study she could do. I mean, you could do those administrative assistant like in the office, or you could still do the administrative or medical office assistant but work in offices where you just have your tasks, working on a desk, doing paperwork and all that. There are a lot of, I don't really know like what course that doesn't require being in a fast-paced and multitasking. Maybe those courses that don't require you to be in a front line, you know, you're working in a back office where you could just deal with paperwork at your own pace and answering phone calls and all that. And just Google it. There's a lot of programs that you could take that doesn't require these specific qualities. There are a lot of stuff like offices jobs, like receptionist jobs that or any receptionist or medical office assistant, but you could also work in offices that are not busy, so you're still good. You just have to find maybe if you don't want that fast-paced environment, or if you don't want the busy crazy life workplace, you can apply for physiotherapy offices or a wellness center. You could still be a medical office assistant to those offices, so you're still good. Lulu is saying she is currently studying medical secretary and she will start her internship soon. Good luck, Lulu. She asked if the job is not scary. It's always scary if you don't know the workplace. It's always scary to go dive into that first day and start your profession, and first day is always the scariest. Other than that, once you go in your first day, you'll be fine. There are a lot of workplaces that are bigger than what my work is right now. It's terrifying, I'm not gonna lie, but don't worry, you will adjust to it. You get to know your colleagues, get to know your doctors, and you will be fine. It's scary the first day, but after that, it's not scary at all. I like my job. I enjoy going to my job every day, and I take it from my experience. I work in a very busy clinic, and it's not scary at all. It's very enjoyable. If you have a passion for the field, it's really nice. So Kate D asked, does one need to be a very fast typer? No, you don't have to be a very fast typer. As long as you can type, and as long as you could take notes from the doctor, and as long as you could you learn quickly, you're good. You don't have to be a fast typer unless you're like medical transcriptionist. Those people need to be a very fast typer. But medical office assistant, you don't have to really. What's MOA's salary? Now, I can only speak on behalf of where I live. In Canada, I live in Ontario, and medical office assistant salary ranges from maybe $16 to $22. Now, it depends on where you are. Working in a private, family-owned medical clinic, you don't get that much. But in general, salary of the medical office assistant, that is the range from $16 to $22 in Canada. In Ontario, I don't know the other provinces. Somebody asked, is the medical office assistant is the same as medical office specialist? I read up on it, and it actually is the same. They just call them the position sometimes as medical office specialist. So you do exactly the same duties as medical office assistant. You do billing, you do you're the front face of the clinic. You deal with patients, medical history and filing and documenting and all that. Now, most often they mistaken the medical office assistant with the medical assistant. Medical assistant usually is the one who, you know, assists doctors with procedures, or patient might see medical assistant first before seeing a doctor. But medical office assistant and medical office specialist is one position. They're the same. They're the same with regard to duties and all that, but they're just sometimes called medical office specialist instead of medical office assistant. So they're the same. Katrina asked, how did you approach your job search, or how to ask for volunteer work? Okay, honestly, for me, when I was looking for a job, it was really hard for me to specifically apply for the medical office assistant position because I could not find anything. Most doctors' offices rarely uses online tool to post their job hunt, like job hiring. They usually just go with the mouth. Like if you know somebody, one of your colleague, or if I know somebody that I could recommend. In the small clinics like that, we use our mouth to kind of spread the word that we're hiring. I don't know with hospitals and all that. I think you have to go in to their website specifically to see if they are hiring. There are some posts that I saw when I was looking for a job, but when you click it, it's a whole different thing. So online tools sometimes for job search, if you're looking for a specific position, it's really hard. I ended up just applying for a receptionist job, period. It could be a receptionist for an automotive office or something like that, or a receptionist for a wellness center. Luckily, I know somebody that works at this clinic that I'm in right now, and when I start looking for a job, I told her, you know, when you're hiring, let me know, because I'm currently looking for a job. And luckily, they were hiring because somebody is leaving, so they took me in. Like I did an interview and all that, and they liked me, and I got the job. Luckily, I know somebody that works in a walk-in clinic. Now, for the volunteer work, it's really easy for the volunteer work. Hospital usually offers volunteer work. It's just a little bit hard to get into hospitals, but if you go into walk-in clinics in your neighborhood, just go in and introduce yourself and submit your resume and let them know that you're looking for volunteer work, because those small walk-in clinics, they usually look for somebody that could help out with some backlog with their work to help them out. So they're taking volunteers to do those jobs for them. And it's really easy if you just go walk-in clinics and ask if they accept a volunteer work. You're gonna find them easy. I think the hardest part of it is just finding a job. It's really hard. I just got lucky that I know somebody, but it took me several months to even get an interview for something that I really want, and that could fall through as well. So it's really hard. You just have to submit resume. It doesn't matter how much, just go and submit. For 100 resumes that you submitted, it's probably will come back to you. Probably 5 interviews will come back to you, or 5 calls will come back to you. So it doesn't matter, just go submit your resume. It doesn't matter if it's not specifically what you wanted at first, but at least you get, when you get your foot out there, you know, like if you get an interview, you get used to the interviewer, and it will help you get comfortable when you finally go in for an interview for the job that you want. So just go, you know, submit resume, doing your research online, and see how you could successfully get a job. And just even those walk-in clinics that don't broadcast their hiring process, just go in and say you guys are hiring currently, or are you gonna hire in the near future. If they said we don't really know, just submit your resume, because you don't know if an employee leaves, or an employee will take a time off work. Your resume is right there ready. So I suggest just submit resume. And she also asked, what is your tips for entry-level resume? I would say if you are looking for a specific position, cater or curate your resume for that. If you're looking for a medical office assistant position, just make sure that your education portion of your resume curate towards that field. I mean, if you're looking to get a medical office assistant position, don't put all your education that you did for, you know, like fields that are not related. I mean, you could still put those, because you have to put those, but on top you have to put the ones that really resonate with the position that you're applying. You know what I mean? And it has to be current education as well. Like the very recent education that you did must be related to the field that you're applying to. Also, for every doctor's office that you're applying to, don't I really suggest to personalize your resume to the specific office that you're applying, because if it's just a generalized resume, the interviewer or the person who's hiring could notice that, like just your wordings and all that. Just let it be a little bit personalized to the company that you're applying to, and be prepared. Once they call you for an interview, you have to know the company, you have to know what they do, you have to know what services they offer, because that's a big plus. So finally, we have Venica asking, what is it like juggling having a child and work? What are the typical hours of your job? Is it early or is it easy to find a job? It's always hard to find a job. You have to be very patient, and you have to be very creative on how you look for a job. How I juggle with my work and my kids. My kids are all in school now. They're grade 3 and they're grade 3 in JK, so they have full day at school, luckily. So what I do in the morning, very busy, so I have to have them ready, get them out of school, drop them to school, and then go to work. Luckily, their bell time is like right on the time where I start working. So it works for me. It's really hard juggling kids and work if you're a single parent, mind you. With my husband and I, we work together with our schedule. He works in the morning and get off at 3, and the kids get off at 2:50. So we arrange it. We're very, very lucky to have my in-laws retired now, so they could pick up the kids from school, bring them home. My husband will pick them up from their house and bring them home. So it works for us. We're very lucky to just we don't pay for any daycare fee, which could be very expensive sometimes. We're very lucky to not have to worry about daycare fees. And we're very lucky since I started working, our work schedules really work well with the kids' schedule and my husband's schedule and my schedule. But for the first 5 years maybe of our marriage, I worked part-time just to work our schedule together. It was a struggle, but we made it work. We skipped daycare, which is really awesome. And now that they're both in school, it's a lot way easier. You have to find the balance between your work schedule and your kids. If you're new to a workplace, you might kind of have to sacrifice a little bit, but as the time goes, if you've been there for a little bit longer, you could arrange your schedule a little bit better to cater your schedule at home. You just have to have an open communication with your supervisor and lay your situation down. Look, I'm a single mother, I have a child. Can we arrange or cater a little bit my schedule to my kids' schedule? You have to speak up, you have to talk to them and tell them your situation. And I'm pretty sure they could, kind of fluctuate or curate your schedule with whatever they have for you. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy at first, but at least once you start your work schedule and once you get that job and you start working, it will get easier. Trust me. Typical hours now. This is varies again with where you work. So my work schedule, if I'm working in the morning, it will be from 8 till 3, or if I'm working in the evening, from 1:30 till 9:30, and then if I work Saturday, it will be from 8 till 2. I don't know if you work at the hospital, your shift varies really differently. Sometimes you work overnight, or sometimes it really depends on your workplace. And those are my hours, and it's really, really convenient for me because some days I have the morning free and some days I have the afternoon free. So my typical working hours, if I'm just working at the clinic, is very, very good. It's very flexible. Yeah, we finished everything. I hope I answered all your questions, and if I missed something, just comment down below and I will try and answer all of those. Thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for all your questions, and I'm really, really glad that I answered all of them. Subscribe and like this video if you do, and tell me what video you would like to see next. Do you want me to talk about staying home in a pandemic and what do I do to stay sane with 2 kids at home? I'm off work now. I have been working by myself for 3 months. And I don't have a babysitter, I don't have any means to take care of my kids, so and my work only allow 1 person because we have a very reduced hours now, so they're only taking 1 person to work. So the person who were off for 3 months came back in, so I have to sit down and stop working so that they could go back to work. So now I'm home. I don't know for how long, hopefully for not long. And yeah, I'm staying home with my kids, and it's really busy and hectic, and I didn't realize that my house is super dirty and disorganized now that I'm home, and I just get to them and cleaning and cooking and all that. So that's my routine these days. So I hope you guys like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will come back for a surprise video. You're gonna like it. I'm pretty sure you will, and it will be up. I have 1 more week left. It will be up in a week, so hopefully we'll get this done, and I'm really excited to share that with you. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye!